If you're designing learning content in the new Snap theme, there are great opportunities available to you now to create content that's both visually interesting, but is also rich and impactful to the students, so you can execute much more engaging and complex learning design. Let me show you what I mean. So as we navigate through this content, I'm going to show you some of the design features first, and then later in the recording, how you build that sort of content for yourself. The navigation you'll notice is on the left-hand side and the content area on the right. Within that content area already you can see some interesting layout features. We have text, of course, we can have images, and those images can be placed relative to the text. That will make more sense later on. If I look to some of the new features available to us, you can have some of these new design interface elements appear immediately on the Moodle screen. Now, this is a Moodle page, and those familiar with pages from other layouts will know that normally there's one click before you get to read any content of a page. However, in Snap, the initial description is displayed on screen, plus an image if an image has been included, and that's accompanied with a read more button, which when the student clicks on that, they get the contents of the page itself. So you can see what Snap is doing here is it's bringing to the front of screen some of that content, and now you can start to think of this as a learning designer about how you can use the capability of this to provide a short, sharp bit of content with read more to reveal greater information. A Moodle book also has an interesting treatment. Again, you get a quick summary description on the front page. You also get to see the chapters within that book. So even before you click in, students get a sense of what will be contained within the chapters of that book. And then with files, they are displayed in this instance in a grid pattern with icons that represent the function of each file. And you recall the accessibility features that are provided by Blackboard Alley that show information to us, the designers, about the accessibility of the files that we upload. But that's captured in another separate recording. In addition to that, when you're designing content, you can make decisions about how that content is laid out. So here, we can see that you can have content that's displayed in columns. In this case, we have a 3-column display with images and text, but the most interesting and important thing, I think, is the way that these columns behave on different devices. So remember that your content might be consumed on a large format screen like I have here, but it might also be consumed on a mobile device. And watch what happens as I gradually shrink the display of this. You'll see that the content is adapting to that. And all of a sudden, the layout changes. So now what were previously 3 columns have effectively become 3 rows. The first content, followed by the second content, followed by the third. What it's in essence done is the page has been reformatted to allow for effective consumption of the same content on a smaller format device, like a mobile phone. As I drag this back now, you'll notice it reverts to the 3-column design. So Snap is really excellent for adapting to the device. In addition, if you include video, such as YouTube video, that video is automatically resized to be full width. So again, as I expand and shrink this, you'll notice that that video is expanding and shrinking to suit. So it's making the best use possible of the available space. So now that we have a good sense of the student experience, let's explore how we can develop our own rich learning content. I'm in a new section and I'm going to create my first learning activity. And the type of activity I'm going to use is that page. It's under the Resources tab and I select Page. With a page, you give it a title, a brief description. This is the text that will appear on the screen before the Read More button. And then the content itself, and this is where we can start to be fun and creative. So you might remember that in the example I showed earlier, it had an image. So let's look at how we put images in. It's surprisingly easy. In the Atto editor, you can simply drag an image from your computer and drop it onto the screen. I'm going to do that now. And there it is. There's that beautiful image on screen ready for me to add additional content. I can put some content below this. So we're already creating something that looks visually interesting. But there are other layout elements that we can use as well. Let me now upload a second image. This happens to be a slightly smaller image. And perhaps I want to arrange the content and the text in a way that's visually appealing. So let me add some text first. If I select this image and click on the little image icon in the toolbar, I can choose to have that image displayed in different positions. For instance, to the right of the text. When I do that, you'll notice now I've got the text to the left and the image displayed to the right. So it's a really lovely layout. Of course, we have other layout options again. Recall again from earlier, we can arrange content into columns if we like. The icon for that is this one here. And you first decide how many columns you would like and what arrangement those columns should be in. So this is a 3-column layout where each column is the same size. And then I can add content to my new columns as well. So we've got, in a matter of moments, something that's visually interesting. The content and layout means that we can achieve a really interesting learning design. And I'm going to save and return to course now. So something rather lovely has happened. I've got a summary of what will be found in this page. There's the descriptive text, but also it has read through the content of my page, found the first image there, and displayed a smaller format version of that image on the home page as well. So it really invites students into that content, and then they have the opportunity to hit read more to get the full experience, including our large format image, our text, our laid out text and images with proper alignment, and our columns of content. So you can see now that we can, with fairly little effort, decorate our content in a way that's visually attractive, but also purposeful and meaningful to students.